Hello, Boring Review Nation. Formerly Boring Land.
Not formally. Still alive. Nick here.
Gabe.
And we are ready for episode 6 of Mirzapur. And so we are ready to give you this review. It's been a few days, I feel like, maybe not. But, you know, it's a lot of fun doing episode by episode, but it's kind of tough with the schedule. Right. So we appreciate you being patient with our episode by episode review of Mirzapur. So, episode 6, it starts off with a party. In this party, you got Tripathi, you got his son, Munna, and then you got what's his name, YD Yadav or something like that.
Right. And
who's, you know, influential politician type guy.
Right.
And they're doing, what's the party about? Do you even know? I can't remember what the party was for.
They were celebrating him. I guess he's running for office again or something like that. It was some kind of celebration to him.
So they're having that party, and there's a few things going on, and, you know, they're having fun. And so far, we see Tripathi, for all intents and purposes, and for lack of a better term, kind of bow down to the Yadav whenever he wants to do something. And you're going to pay for this, right? You're going to do that, right? Yeah, sure, whatever. And he even tells his son, go get the money from the back of the car and give it to him. But then we have the situation where there's this dance sequence. Right. And there's this super hot lady that comes out, and she's doing the dance. And I thought it was interesting. They started turning the water on to make it even more interesting of a dance. But, I mean, this actress did not, hesitate or did not, hesitate. She just kept going forward, doing her dance. And then Munna started dancing with her, or Yadav started dancing with her, and then Munna started cutting in. And Yadav was getting super jealous, so they're going back and forth playing that thing you've seen in movies before.
Dude, you saw it coming immediately.
Oh, man. And here's Yadav is so mad at him.
Like, man, Munna, this kid, I don't know what to think of him. Because he's part Fredo, but then and when he say Fredo, guys, we're referring to the Godfather. Fredo was the son that screwed up, and that's where the term Fredo kiss comes. If somebody Fredo kisses you, that means you're about to die. Because Michael Fredo kissed his own brother. He's like, I knew it was you, Fredo. I knew it was you. And then Fredo gets whacked. But, like, he does some smart things. And you saw he can handle himself when the assassination attempt did come. But why would you put your dad in that position?
Because he lives in a world of no responsibility. He can do whatever he wants. And if anyone has a problem with it, then it's their problem. And he wants to have them pay. I feel like that's how the world is today in a lot of ways. I hate being that old guy saying the younger generation, but the younger generation, there's no responsibility for what people do. And so he just goes in there at this other guy's house, and you got this girl dance with the other guy, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, I know I'm harder than this guy is, and she's liking that. And so eventually, long story short, Yadav just slaps him right in the face.
Oh.
And I love Tripathi's reaction.
Now, to this point, like you said, Tripathi has been reserved. Other than the first episode when the guy blew his own hands off and it was gangster, he's just been very laid back. But this was like, you don't not put your hands on my son. So he immediately got up and he turned the music off, and he's like looking at him. And, at that point, I thought it was going to go down right there, because Munna looked at him like, are you crazy? You just put your hands on me. So he calls Munna, he says, let's go, move. You know what I mean? So Munna leaves, shows he still respects his dad, and the politician guy comes up to him and tries to, make amends or whatever. And he's like, you slapped my son in front of all these people. And then, the guy's still trying to joke it off. I was like, oh, the lad's over.
He's like my son, too.
He's like my son, too, or whatever. I love Munna, whatever. So he goes to embrace him, and Tripathi, does gangster. I love them. This is the new Fredo kiss. Instead of kissing him on the cheek, he grabs his hands and puts them together and goes, okay, go. Yo, I don't even want you to embrace me right now.
No,
he just showed him. Oh, man, it was so gangster.
And then the other layer and the other element to this that makes it even more intensified is at this party, and maybe that's what the whole thing of the party was the party of peace, right? Where you have Radhi Shankar from the other town,
Junipar,
and then you got Kalin Tripathi, and he wants them to have peace while the elections are going on and the campaign's going on.
They want to stop the killing. That's
especially
what
with all these guns and everyone's getting guns, and he's like, I need you guys to just control yourselves and especially not go after each other. And so as soon as Kalin doesn't bow down to Yadav and accept that apology and give him that hug, and he walks away, what does Yadav do? He goes right to Radhi Shankar, and he's like, all right, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you get Mirzapur. You just got to trust with me.
He said, "Give me a big bag of money and just
give me a whole lot of money because I'm always running out of this."
Right.
And I got you.
What I loved about that too was the political aspect they brought into in the beginning, where he goes, "Listen, we have to slow down the killings, and we're not saying that
he doesn't care about their lives.
Safe. It just needs to appear that they're safe, just like a politician." And he goes, it was one of the funny lines there.
Maybe not like every politician, hopefully.
Not like every politician, but most politicians, speaking out both sides of their mouth. And excuse me. He's like, they don't need to be safe. They just need to feel that they're safe. Because when people are safe, they vote with the incumbent. They vote, and that's all he cares about. Getting back in the office, and then after that, whatever. The people, can go get shot at this point. So that happens, and then
ceasefire until I get elected.
Until I get elected. That was funny. So after the party,
all right. So after the party, and after he talks to Roddy, and being the weasel he is, Munna, we see him get more and more impatient, and with Munna, I kind of, as I'm watching this episode and he's getting more frustrated and he's just, no one's letting me do what I want to do and blah, blah, blah. I can't wait to see him lose it because there's going to be a point where he just loses it.
Right.
And, you had that scene in the last episode in the bathroom with Compounder and the knife. But, no, I'm talking about, I want to see this guy lose it.
Right.
Because he just can't handle it. I don't want him to go after his dad, even though it seems like they're kind of building towards that. But I just feel like he's going to blow and he's going to erupt any moment.
Right. Well, what I saw, too, was that this was the first time that Dad actually called him out and said so. So I do see that tension building because Dad told him, listen, this power that you wield, you didn't earn it. And I remember I was saying, you know what, I'm going to jot that down because this is the first time where Dad's even telling him, like, dude, you're a spoiled brat. You didn't earn this power because you just put me in a big issue with somebody who has a lot of political power because you knew that was this girl up there dancing. What are you doing? This is his house, his party. So he told him, this power you wield, you did not earn it, and I like that part. So as he's chastising him, the wife comes and says, oh, you're going to not only let your son get smacked in public by whatever, but then you're going to demean him here too. So now the wife is playing Munna's side, and it feels like to me like she's stroking his ego. And is there like an incestual thing going there? I mean, I know that's not really...
Well, it's not his mom.
It's not his mom, but still, does it seem like she's like building him up and catering to his ego?
It seems to me, and try to say this in the most boring review way, it seems to me like she's got the hots for Munna.
Right.
That his endurance is really appealed to her.
Right.
And she wants to experience that. And it seems to me that she knows that Colleen is not going to get any younger.
Right.
It's almost as if she is, while she's with Butler Boy and whatnot,
right.
she's trying to get someone to almost take out Colleen so that she can maybe be with Munna in the later stages. And she wants to start building up that wall, or start to build that foundation, so to speak. She's definitely not one you can trust.
No.
And I'm not going to go out and say, all young, pretty women are this way. Of course they're not. It's the stereotype they're going with on this show.
Right.
But she's definitely not someone you can trust. And I think she's allowing Tripathi and his frustration with his son, she's taking advantage of that by throwing in these digs at him. Because if he was in his right mind, he would give her a look and be like, hey, get out of my house now. I'm done with you.
Yeah,
like, he has no real intention, no real motivation to keep her around. But for some reason, he's allowing this or that to happen. And I'm not saying women can't speak, but with his character and the kind of control he has, he would not allow that.
He's a real gangster, so he should not be allowing that. Because ultimately, she wasn't there, and Munna was at fault. Now, I get it. Once the guy put his hands on Munna, all bets are off. But really, this is a battle that one of those, no matter what happens, you're going to lose. Because let's say, as a Tripathi, you go and take this guy out. Now there's going to be a new politician who may not be in your pocket. Plus, killing a politician is a whole new ball game. You can kill, and this goes for... I forgot what show I was watching where he was like, no, we can't do that. And it might have been The Sopranos or whatever, and they wanted to kill a politician. He's like, whoa, we can't do that. You killed another rival gangster, a drug dealer, a cop even. You're right. But the minute you kill like a politician, somebody in power, you're done, cousin, okay? Everybody's coming
There's
after
no
you.
end to the politicians, and, the politicians are going to protect their own, and so, there's no way. So this episode mostly is about Guddu and Bablu. Right. And, Guddu and Bablu, mostly Bablu, in my opinion, was able to fix the gun business.
Right.
And able to take care of that and clean things up. And so then Colleen tasked them with, okay, now we're going to let you be with the big boys.
The carpet business.
We're going to let you into the carpet business. Now, I did not know, I'm not sure if you did, that what was really going on in the carpet business. And so it was cool for me, and obviously for you too, where we had no idea. So it was us learning about the carpet business as Guddu and Babu's learning about it.
Right.
And they find out that the carpet business is what?
They're transporting inside these carpets heroin.
Yeah, and it's in dark chocolate form.
In dark chocolate form, right. And that was a genius thing to do.
Oh, man.
And
I like it inside the carpet. So the carpet's really worthless for crying out loud.
For the most part,
it's a vehicle, but...
It's a vehicle to transport it. But I liked how... First of all, I caught on with what you said this episode. I didn't see it before, but in the last episode, you said that you kind of feel that... the head henchman. Makpool is kind of like... starting to show some resentment toward the boys. I definitely saw it in this episode. Because he's like, wow, they're bringing him into this kind of thing. And a couple looks and glances. So I'm like, no, Makpool, you're my man. What are you doing? But I get it. You've been around forever. And they're not even considering you being... you've never even eaten at the same table with them. You've never been considered for leadership, and they're bringing these kids in there after being with us, a couple months, not even a couple weeks. That's it. A couple weeks, not even a couple months. That's got to be hard for him to swallow.
Well, and at first I thought it was because he felt like maybe it was his turn to run the ranks. But sometimes in life, we as people are okay with not being the man, without being the man in charge, the woman in charge. We're okay with that. We're happy with our plight, and I wonder. I think I saw a little more of this episode. I wonder if he's really upset because he envisions Munna as taking over. Even though he knows Munna's making mistakes, maybe he's put his time in and he's built that rapport with Munna to where he's ready to make that transition.
Right.
Not that Tripathi is sold that he's going to die anytime soon.
Right.
But I wonder if he's more jealous for Munna not getting that chance. But I still, in the back of my mind, I'm still kind of thinking that he wants to make a move. But... it's really interesting. Again, someone said episodes ago, like, don't read too much into it. It's not that kind of show.
Right.
But why can't it not be that kind of show? I want to know, what is his end game? Who knows? Obviously, he's not in Ratty Shankar's pocket because he can't stand him.
Right.
But, so anyways, with the whole carpet business, that was really interesting. And then he was given a challenge, Babu was, and Guddu, but really Babu, the challenge was, okay, let's see if you can handle this.
Expand the drug business like you expanded the gun business. But I like what Tripathi said, though, at that point. He says... any move you make goes through me first. Because the gun business was already failing, so I could care less. But this thing is a well-oiled machine.
Baby.
So don't screw it up. Don't do anything until you run it through me first. So now, they kind of pulled the reins back a little bit. Because you were saying, if he's such a big gangster, then how could his business be failing? The gun business maybe failing, but the drug business isn't. So now it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well-oiled machine too. I mean, you got these people on the inside, these ladies that are, it's almost like dough, whatever. They're getting that flattened out and they're getting it ready and they're putting it in the carpet and they're sewing it up and they're shipping it out. I mean, it's insane. But I love the challenge because Babu's thinking like, okay, I've got to get some kind of angle. I've got to figure out what's wrong with the business and how we can make it better. And Guddu, he's got his mother's milk or whatever. He's got his weights. He's basically like, you'll figure it out, bro. And he's going to do him and do his workouts or whatever. And I don't know why, but I kind of like that because it's the show staying true to those characters where Guddu is the muscle and Babu is the brain. And even Tripathi mentions that. He's like, brain versus brawn is a great combination if it's done right. And so that was interesting. But one thing that I thought was hilarious, to switch gears a little bit, you got Sweetie and the Guddu's gonna meet her dad, right? It's a big moment. It's a big moment for anyone. I don't care what culture you're in, but especially in Indian culture because I mean the dad can make or break. Here in the States, the dad can make or break, but the girl's gonna do what she's want to do anyways. Whether as father, if you like that or not, the girl's gonna do what she wants to do.
Ale, you cannot do what you want to do. You cannot do what you want to do.
You can tell even with Sweetie, as fierce as she is, she wants that approval from her dad. She wants that blessing. And so, in the other circumstance, I mean, this guy is chief of police or whatever his role is. He's not going to give his approval to anyone with his beautiful, sweet daughter that he calls Sweetie. But as soon as he sees that it's Guddu or Babu, and he recognizes him because he's on the inside track with Tripathi, I thought it was going to go one way. I thought he was going to basically, very treadfully and carefully, he was going to be like, over my dead body. Be nice to them, but tell her, you better stay away from them. They're very dangerous. But he is so deep into the bribery and the corruption
Right.
that he just gives all the blessing. Like, oh, I don't even have to talk to you. I give you my blessing. Go with God. And you want to be with my daughter too?
Yes,
you have my blessing.
He is so impressed with these guys. And he is so like, wow, he understands that the power that they're wielding already, because Tripathi holds him in such high esteem, that not only was he happy with one daughter, he's trying to give away his other daughter. Like, oh, you two, yes, you guys are together, yes, please. They're like, no, we're just friends. So,
and you guys can correct us if we're wrong, but you know more than we do. But I feel like from all the movies we've watched, there's no way any type of father in an Indian culture, when it comes to giving daughters for marriage or whatever, is just. Especially without any kind of promise of a dowry or anything like that. Right. They're just going to be so quick. Like, oh, yeah, if you both want to marry my daughters, that sounds good to me.
I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah,
but
that was hilarious.
It was super cool, though, after that scene to see this new police officer come in there. And here in the States, the cop that investigates internal affairs, IA, they're all known as Snake. Everybody hates the IA as far as the police department is concerned. And it was this situation here. This guy's walking around, eating this ice cream, trying to play like he's Mr. Magoo. All the time, he's trying to gather information. And he's like, yeah, if there's any extra way to earn money. And I'm like the fat cop. I'm like, really, dude? Do I look like I was born yesterday? Bro, I was born at night, not last night. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Well, he's like, I like that watch on your wrist. So you can tell this cop is sharp. Like, he's pointing out everything like, you're a cop. You can't afford that watch. You know what I mean? And this is Mirzapur. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of corrupt cops. And even at the end of the episode, he alludes to, hey, you guys are here, to the small band of cops that he does get, because you guys are, how did he phrase it? You guys seem to be good cops. You seem to be honorable cops. And we know that here in Mirzapur, there's a whole bunch of dishonorable cops and crooked cops. So, but I mean,
task force, but I know you can't stand him. You mentioned off camera. I love this guy. And look at the shirts. Look at the hats. I mean, look at our personalities. He's the villain. I'm the hero. I got Iron Man the Avenger. He's got Chucky with a knife. Now, Deadpool is anti-hero.
Kind of a hero.
But he's still a bad boy. I got S.H.I.E.L.D. right here, right? I mean, I think this guy's great because I love having balance in shows. I love seeing the good guys beat awesome. Superman's fantastic, but he doesn't have a villain. Then there's no balance, and it goes both ways. I mean, these guys are just running this town. You've got to have that balance. You've got to have that conflict, and it can't just be the inner conflict, inner turmoil, or even with Ratty Shankar. It's got to be on a third level. So I really love they introduce this guy. I love what he's doing. I mean, he looks at his desk, and he's like, no, there's dust on my desk. And he doesn't straight out, like a punk. He doesn't straight out say, like, clean my desk. He's like, how can I sit here if there's dust? He wants them to bow down to him. I mean, he is playing those mind games from day one. He is using his power from day one. And you're right. He wants that chief of police. He wants Sweetie's father to admit to everything. He keeps tugging at the strings. Dude, you can trust me. I just want some extra money, man. You can tell me anything. And to Sweetie's father's credit, he hasn't given in yet.
At one point, I thought he was going to break.
But then when he puts that task force together, and he's got the right guys, like you said, you're the only ones I can see that are clean. We're going to, get these guys out of here. It's almost as if those guys are super dangerous because they're probably sick of the corruption and either the fact they're not benefiting from it or they're sick and tired of trying to do their job and these guys are ruining it for them. Right. That I can't wait to see what happens with those people.
And I mean, here's the thing. The reason why I didn't like his approach was because exactly what happened, I know what would happen.
Because he's not a bad guy.
But maybe that's his plan. But here's the thing. If I start immediately, let's say if I'm him and I go in there and I immediately start questioning somebody who is corrupt, right? Don't you think he's going to do exactly what he did and run back to Mr. Preet and say, hey, man, there's this cop, and they're investigating everybody, and they're questioning us. We're going to have to, slow down the investigation or slow down our operation because they're watching me. Why wouldn't you watch him from afar? Why would you do it quietly? Why would it not just come out and say, like...
He hasn't came out and done anything yet. He's being very passive-aggressive about it. Not even aggressive. He's being very passive about it.
Right.
And just asking questions, eating his ice cream. Like, they're like, this guy eats so much ice cream.
Bro, every episode he's eating
the Brad Pitt. But, I mean, I love what he's doing. And, one person might ask, why don't they just take him out? Tell Tripathi and just take him out. You can't do that because, to your point, either earlier in a different video we talked about, once the politicians go down, once the chief of police go down, there's people always in the upper up. Right. They're going to send more people there.
Too much heat.
You don't want that kind of attention.
Right.
And, that's a big risk with the gun business and how they're giving guns to everybody. You don't want nonstop murders to happen because now they're going to have more attention and more people coming in and out.
Right.
But, it's super interesting. I love the guy personally.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Babalu's approach. This kid thinks out of the box, right?
Yes.
And I said, okay, how is he going to do this? Well, the gun business, obviously, we knew from the beginning, guns were exploding in people's hands. And if I were given the business, I wouldn't have thought as far as he did where, it's that we're getting bad guns from Jennifer and people are selling our spots. My whole thing was the quality control. I would have been like, hey, you guys aren't doing the job right. I would have been watching. That aspect, I would have been on it. He completely thought about different. But you give me the drug business that's already doing well that, by the way, I didn't even know you were involved in. So obviously you're doing a good job in concealing it. So what am I supposed to do with it? And how or what did he do in order to figure it out?
So he gets, and I don't know the correct term, but you have these transgender prostitutes, right? And they're out there, they're doing their thing, and they have themselves, especially the main guy, a huge network.
Right.
And so he decides, I'm gonna use this to my advantage.
Genius.
Like we're all gonna make profits. You're gonna be partner. I'm gonna be partner on this. You're just gonna turn this product. Remind me of Breaking Bad a little bit.
Right.
We're just gonna get it out there. You have that huge network. We're gonna take advantage of it. We're gonna pay you. And at first, the main transgender prostitute guy, whatever his name is, I'm sorry, her name is, but she's reluctant to it at first.
Right.
And then I can't remember. Was it the money?
Nope. He said, we're partners, and just giving
the respect. Yes,
giving the respect.
No one's ever shown me that kind of respect.
Nobody's ever shown me that kind of respect.
I will do whatever you want. I'll run through a wall for you.
Yes, and again, he's so smart. He knows what gets people to tick. You know what I mean? And he takes his time. He approaches the situation like, how can I do better? He even said, you guys will be perfect because not only is your network huge, but the cops won't even frisk you. So nobody, it's not like they're going to find it on you. They're not going to be thinking or suspecting of you as being a dealer. So from that standpoint, it's genius. I remember watching what's that show? Locked Up Abroad, I think it was, where, they always show these not just Americans, but people who get locked up in other countries trying to struggle smuggling drugs. And it's awesome. I think it was on AMC. But anyway, they said that, before we're talking about the 70s and 80s and stuff, they used to get a lot of drugs in the country because they used to strap them on to women. Because, again, women drug dealer, really? But then they started getting hip to that. Same thing with gang culture here in the United States. A lot of gangsters, you always start seeing girls in gangs. Like, what? Why do they got girls and, girlfriends in gang? Because they sticking their guns in the handbags. And cops aren't. Normally when cops come, there's not going to be a female there. A male cop can't frisk a female. So it's a way of having them hold their guns for them. And it's genius. It's camouflage, so to speak. You know what I mean? So I like that he did that. And again, here's the only problem I see. We saw his dad earlier in the episode, and unfortunately, his dad put down his foot, right? Did what he had to do, and we haven't talked about that yet, but Dad ended up kicking him out. Yep. But that kind of already alluded to the fact that I'm going to take you down. Like, that is so...
He's got his moral code, and I've got to respect that to a certain degree. I'm not going to say I would make the same decision, but... moral code, it's a personal thing. It's your own thing. You live by it if you have one to whatever degree. And you're not going to let anything break that moral code, even your own family. If my own sons decide to go on and be dealers and selling guns and the cause of several deaths and crimes, and I'm a lawyer trying to get rid of the crime, how am I going to just turn my back on everything I believe in because they're my sons? I'm going to start supporting them, and I'm going to start letting them bring in money that they're using, dirty money, bloody money. I understand the father's perspective completely. I understand family as well. It's easy for me to sit here and say this. Luckily, it's just a show. Right. But I understand the kicking out, for me, believe it or not, was kind of too far. Because you don't want to... Your kids may not always do what you want them to do.
Right.
And these two boys are the extreme case. But your kids may not always follow the path you want them to. But you can't kick them out. You can't push them away. These are boys that they're going to be able to have the kind of income to support themselves. They don't need to live with mom and dad. I thought that was interesting on many levels, though, real quick. You have the mom who I thought in the previous episode she didn't like the power. She felt ashamed. But we see in this episode she likes the power.
Right.
She's been waiting almost like her whole life for this kind of situation. You got Dimpy, who, she's beautiful. Holy cow. You got Dimpy, the sister. And she is still kind of sides with Mr. Pandit or whatever, but she still enjoys hanging out with her brothers, and they go to the movie or whatever. That whole scene with the soda, like, I don't feel it's cold. And the guy has the audacity to talk back to Guddu, and then he controls himself. Okay, whatever. And then the Sweetie's like, why didn't you do something about it? He's like, not in front of my family. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sweetie got gangster there. Like, talk back to you.
There's just so much going on in this episode. But with him kicking him out, I thought that was a bad move, and I thought that was too far. Because now, what's going to stop them from coming after you if you draw that line and you got, Guddu, who's all types of messed up with the pills he's taking?
Crazy. My problem is this: I don't think he has acknowledged, this is partly his fault. Again, had you just dropped the case, and I get it, he has his moral code, but I'm not going to put my family's safety. If it's not for your sons, you're all dead any which way. All right? They're going to put you you would have been in a box at this point because you were too prideful to drop this case where you knew you shouldn't have taken it because it wasn't even going to get prosecuted any which way because it's against the only son of Tripathi. So you put your sons in this position. You have to acknowledge that. Yes, they didn't have to go out and start enjoying it, but remember, they're working for Mr. Tripathi so that they keep the rest of you guys breathing because you chose to take on his son and try to prosecute his son, knowing which way it was gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So that was my only part with that, and I didn't like the fact that he kicked him out. To your point, but I understand the fact that didn't he try? He had all the paperwork. He's actually trying to build a case against his own kids. Bro, you're gonna get everybody killed. You still have a wife and daughter you got to worry about.
I don't know if it was this episode or episodes prior, but he actually went to someone else and presented with the information. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. He's like, no one's gonna take this.
Nobody's gonna do this. What are you doing?
What are you doing exactly? There's so much going on in this episode. I wish we had more of Mr. Pandit, but as it's going on, I understand that what we're getting is more than sufficient. I can't wait to see. I mean, it seems like it's building up. It seems like the crescendo is coming at some point. It seems like, and I'm not saying just episode 9, which is the final episode in the season. Right. We only have 3 episodes left. Sometime in this episode or next episode, the crap's going to hit the fan. There's going to be explosions, inner turmoil explosions of all kinds. You have the boys now living in this small place as long as he's got his workout equipment set up. But, I mean, a whole bunch of stuff's going on, and I can't wait to see Munna explode. I can't wait to see Guddu explode. I just can't wait.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to predict, we have not gone ahead, but he's going to explode the minute he sees their new ride because they're no longer on a little motorcycle, and they got their own car. And what do their plates say? The lions of Mirzapur. Munna is the what is it? The king of Mirzapur. There's the prince of Mirzapur. They're the lions of Mirzapur.
And not just that, but when they got Sweetie in the car and he doesn't know about that yet,
it's gonna seriously hit the fan.
I'm not sure. Was he told about them taking over the carpet business? I think.
Yes, Dad told him. I'm bringing him into the carpet business.
I mean, it's not gonna go well. But what's Munna gonna do? What's Munna going to do? Bring Compounder? Because he had his boys with him when Guddu and Bablu were nobodies, and Guddu still took him out before the pills.
Right.
Obviously, he's putting stuff in that pills, and he's maybe just waiting until they really affect his system to where maybe he becomes incapacitated, and then Munna can take care of him. Who knows? Like you said, we haven't watched ahead, but...
I can't believe we haven't mentioned this. I called Nick, and I'm like, dude... the name of this episode is Brofy. We got that from Burfy from the movie we watched, and he's like, "Oh, dude, Nick Sharp. That means it's a sweet. It's got to be something to do with a treat.
Dark chocolate."
He remembered it, and Brofy's the dark chocolate. And that's what they call it.
I didn't make that connection. I remember the comments that was a sweet dessert,
but yeah. So they're disguising the heroin as Brofy. So in Mirzapur, Brofy means black tar heroin.
Oh man, don't have too much of it. But don't have any of it, obviously. That was just a joke. But we hope you enjoyed our review for episode 6. Holy cow. I can't believe it's already 30 minutes. I didn't think we were talking that long about it.
3 more episodes to go.
This show's too much fun. But we hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. It helps us out. As always, go ahead and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit that bell.
Is it too late for predictions? I always love doing this. I always go mid-season, and I know mid-season was last episodes. I'm going to tell you right now who's getting bodied. You ready?
Well, I got one prediction for you.
Who's getting bodied?
Pain.
Pain. All right. I'm going to tell you right now who's going to get bodied in season 1. Mr. Pandit, Dad's gonna get bodied, and I think you're right. It's probably gonna be one of the Mr. Pandit is gonna get bodied, and I thought it was going to be not Babalu. I thought it was gonna be Guddu that's gonna get bodied, but I'm starting to see or feel, especially what's happening to this, Munna may go, bro. Munna may go, especially if he starts messing around with Dad's trophy wife. Munna may go, so I'm predicting he's gonna get bodied.
It's time to turn on the expert hat.
Oh, he turned the hat backwards. That means it's serious business, guys. Serious business.
So my predictions. I have not read ahead. I've not watched ahead. Okay. No way Pandit goes in this season because there's so much you can do with his character that they haven't done with this season, where you can get him involved with the authorities and whatnot, because there's going to get to a point where he's going to stop at nothing to stop Tripathi, even if it goes through his sons. So you kill him off, you waste that opportunity. I said early on that I think Sweetie's going to go. I know it seems ridiculous because they're bringing her up to be like the next queen of Mirzapur, but I can see her going. I feel out 50% on that one. But I think this is crazy. Obviously Munna, he's gone. Either Munna or Tripathi, one of them are gone. One of the two of them. Obviously the old man, he doesn't mean anything. He's gone. But Guddu, I think Guddu is going to be gone.
No!
Because think about it. If Pandit does survive and they want to get to the authorities and they want to get the officials and everything, and he's going to be the lawyer to fight against the only guy that will do it, Harvey Dent style, what's going to motivate him even more than he already is than if his own son gets killed in this business and it's Tripathi's fault in his mind. Not his fault, but Tripathi's fault. That, either that or I don't see too many people dying, to tell you the truth. Makpul, he might be collateral damage. But I think the big ones could be Guddu, either Munna or Tripathi, and probably Sweetie. That's a lot. I don't know if this show is Walking Dead style where anyone can go at any time.
Right.
I think it would be dumb to have Guddu go in the first season because he's the star, for crying out loud.
Right.
But that would be a lot of guts. They're probably laughing at us right now like you guys are so wrong. We don't care.
Just don't tell us, guys, please.
Please don't tell us. We got those little inside comments about Butler Boy. Obviously he gets his head cut off, Don't give us any spoilers, please. I'm not sure if you read that. I could be wrong. But let us know what you think, and as always, help us out, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Check out the Patreon, and until next time,
we know all things.